This is Never Follow a Dinosaur by Latimer. One afternoon, Joe and his sister Sally spotted a strange set of footprints. "Who do you think made those?" asked Sally. Joe took a closer look. Given the size and shape, I think they must certainly have been made by a dinosaur. They followed the footprints to Willoughby's bowl. It was empty. "It must be a very hungry dinosaur," said Sally. "It has eaten all of Willoughby's food." They followed the footprints into the yard. "Look how deep they are," said Joe. "It must be a very hungry, heavy dinosaur to have made such deep footprints." They followed the footprints right through Dad's fish pond. "It seems to like water," said Sally. "So it's a hungry, heavy, swimming dinosaur." A little farther on, the footprints became all squiggly and overlapping. "What happened here?" asked Joe. "Probably some sort of dance," said Sally. "I'd say it's a hungry, heavy, swimming, dancing dinosaur." "What are all these leaves doing on the ground?" asked Sally. "The dinosaur must have bumped its head on that branch," said Joe. "So it's a hungry, heavy, swimming, dancing dinosaur with a headache." "And look," said Sally, "now there are only left footprints." "Oh, he must have kicked his left foot on this rock and hopped around in pain," said Joe. "So it's a hungry, heavy, swimming, dancing dinosaur with a headache and a sore foot." And then, a little farther along, the footprints stopped altogether. Sally and Joe looked around for the hungry, heavy, swimming, dancing dinosaur with a headache and a sore foot, but it was nowhere to be seen. They trudged home, thinking of all sorts of explanations. But they didn't think it had been hit by a meteorite, or magicked away by a magician, or taken by aliens. It was a real mystery. "You should never follow a dinosaur," said Mum when they got home, "especially not a hungry one." "And it probably wasn't a dinosaur at all," added Dad, "because they're extinct." But Sally and Joe were convinced it was a dinosaur, and they were going to prove it. "I know," said Sally. "Let's build a trap and catch it." So they spent all afternoon drawing and planning and building the perfect dinosaur trap. Our dinosaur trap. This way for cat food. Bath for swimming. Music for dancing. Bat to bump its head. Rock to trip it. Deep pit. Cat food. When they were done, they set the cat food in place and left everything out overnight. The next morning, Sally and Joe ran out into the yard to check their trap. The bait was gone, and there were footprints leading right to the edge of the pit. But when they looked into the hole, there was no dinosaur. "How did it escape?" wondered Joe. "It's not as though it can fly." "But what if it can?" shouted Sally. "What if it's a hungry, heavy, swimming, dancing dinosaur with a headache and a sore foot and wings?" Sally and Joe looked up into the sky, and there, flying above them, was the dinosaur. It looked very hungry indeed. "Uh-oh," said Joe. "Run!" yelled Sally. But in no time, the dinosaur had scooped them up off the ground. So you see, the reason you should never follow a dinosaur is that some dinosaurs are just plain hungry. However, luckily for Sally and Joe, once this hungry, heavy, flying dinosaur had soothed its headache, put a bandage on its sore foot, finished its dance, and had a refreshing swim, all it needed was some help baking cakes. Oh, can't reach. Arm's too short. Need help. So Sally and Joe helped the dinosaur make and eat lots of delicious goodies. Yum. The end.